All right, so we are now live. So welcome. This is Off the Record, Airtable Secrets and Lore. We are a group of Airtable users exploring new ways to use Airtable to optimize our businesses and lives. Open to hearing from anyone about your experience, good or bad, using Airtable to make a positive impact in the world. We attempt to promote people coming from any level to share your ideas or ask questions. We also share our experiences, tips, and practices, and offer ways to get help and get involved in the community. We meet every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time here in Zoom. So if you want to join, you can go to www.videowithben.com at 7 p.m. on any Wednesday. That's Eastern time. So
almost any Wednesday.
Did I say Wednesday?
Yeah, I said almost any Wednesday.
Yeah, almost any Wednesday.
Almost any.
We're
not as predictable as Aaron.
Aaron's consistent.
Aaron is pretty damn consistent.
Yeah. So this week we have the exciting product update of the nested ifs that we'll be going through, as well as I understand some communities you can get involved in. Also, I didn't mention we do live stream to the Facebook community Facebook group as of right now. So if you want to join, you can always go there for updates if we're not having it. But yeah, that's what we're going to be going through is nested ifs today, as well as some community updates.
Before we start, can we just give a preview of the original if?
Yeah, so I don't have it anymore on anything.
This is how if was seen to the whole world until recently. This is Janet Jackson's if video. You meant this if, right? Is there another if you're talking about?
Definitely the nested ifs.
Oh, this is, okay. I thought you meant like if. It's like, so there's something new with if in Airtable.
Yes. So
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. You want to jump right into it because the news was all over the past couple days.
Yeah. So it was everywhere. Aaron was trying to save it for his show. We caught it first. So the new thing is,
you would think they would have given him a sneak preview, let him record something ahead of time. You would think. Aaron, brother, take it from someone in the know. They should have given it to you first. You could have filmed this 2 days ago, released it today. No one would have known. I'm just saying.
Not this time, man. Do you have a good base to demo this on, or should I find one we could do daily?
I got nothing. I was going to actually do some complicated one, and I couldn't think of anything I'd actually wanted to do.
Yeah, I have many, but they're in client spaces. So what we had to do before. Here, I'll just share my screen with Airtable. So here with Airtable, this is just a base, and what they added were these filters. So you can have filters with like condition groups. And so these condition groups, you can have like your first one, and then you can either do and or.
I tried to set up one of these earlier because you can now have and or, and I could not figure out how to do it.
So yeah, so now you can still only have and or over here. So you'd probably say and.
But in one of the groups, you can have an and or, and then another or.
Yeah, so you can have sub conditions in this.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is where you can have the or.
Okay.
And then a different
I tried to read the help file. It's really confusing.
Yeah. It's a confusing feature. And I think actually when we had Camille on here, when she was talking about this feature, she said it's so confusing, and that's why it's a UI problem as well. So this right here is, I think you can go even deeper. So like you could have a condition here, as well as like and in here. So you can go very, very deep. See if you see here now, this is.
Now, can you imagine trying to troubleshoot the automation that would be launching off of this?
Yeah, it would be, if you're 3 levels deep, it would be nuts to try to troubleshoot.
So let me understand this. I can't have a required field in the form, like in the expanded view, but I can nest myself into another dimension.
Yeah, you can have a bigger page with nested filters than you can in a record, essentially.
And again, I think when I've been, I hate to say it, but I've been abused by Airtable so long but I'm just used to not being able to do something. So I'm going to have to at some point go back and look and say, wait a minute, is this something I can actually do now? Because there are times when I want an and an or both.
Yeah. Yeah. And previously to do something like this, let's use this for example. Say we wanted to see where we could see paper or image, but also that has to have an image here. Well, we would have to, like, if we went to try to do this, we would say filter this contains paper, or the drop down is image. But now if I want to add an and to say that like either way the attachment has to be here, then I can't change this to and to say that.
No, I think you have to do an and where the or is and add that or statement up inside the nested first.
So
do one of those nested conditions.
Yeah. So now we can do this. Now we can. So now we can say it can be paper and attachment is not empty. We can just
kill
all these, and then we can add another condition group and just say or.
Yep.
Condition name
image.
So now we can use the.
Do you still have any of under where the is for image?
Yeah, that's a good distinction. So is would have to be exact, so it could only be image. And if this isn't a, okay, so this is single select, so it doesn't particularly matter here, but
that's a good example. You just did one that has an and an or.
Yeah. So previously we would have to write that into a formula and say like anything with both an and an or, you would have to write an if formula. And if you aren't familiar with an if formula, I'll briefly show that. So like it would be if, and then your first expression here, it usually has like a little pop-up box, but your first expression is a logical, and then value if true.
Where did the little box go with what it should tell you?
I don't know. It doesn't appear to be.
I use that thing all the time. I hope that didn't go away.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate if it did.
Well, you got nested if, so maybe you don't ever need it again.
Yeah, maybe for if they don't want you to use
I always use it for the data just because I can never remember the damn options, the capital D's, lower keys. I've got that page saved.
Yeah.
3 capital D's, 4 capital M's, uppercase Y. You know what I'm talking about?
Date time format specified.
Yeah, I'm always using those. And I've tried, if you actually put in TTTT 4 T's, it turns it into cursive text.
Really?
No.
Like,
no.
Anywhere?
No, I'm just kidding with you.
No,
but back in the 90s when I ran a help desk, I used to convince people that the internet would be faster if they rubbed their mouse over top of the status bar, and people would literally burn holes in their desk getting the internet, but it never did anything, but they were convinced it did. And they were, at the time, no one knew that speed is speed. You can't control it on your end.
Now I'm kind of concerned that there's not that little help.
I know. Trust me, I have a feeling it's gone. That's the reason I said that.
There's no way they took away this.
Do my date adjust. Date format.
This is kind of more concerning than.
Yeah, that's a very, I'll be honest with you, that's very concerning. Aaron, we know you watch. Can log a ticket.
Kuvan, do you see what's happening?
I'm here.
Kuvan just joined, but we can't hear.
No, I just logged in and I'm horrified.
So you understand? you agree with us. This would be a nightmare if this is gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm horrified.
So not only we got the scoop on nested ifs, but we got the scoop on this. I don't even know what you would call this, but I call it context sensitive help. Context sensitive help is gone from formulas.
Yeah, that was the only good thing about the formula editor. But and it worked great.
Mm-hmm.
And why?
So now I'll be copying and pasting old formulas and figuring out how we did them because it doesn't help us.
I mean, I'll be honest. Most of my formulas, I write in a separate code editor anyway, and I just paste them in. But now, how are you supposed to, if you don't have the syntax memorized, how are you supposed to know what goes next and how many parameters and all of that?
You just got to memorize it. You got to be good.
Oh my gosh. Have you reported this to support?
This was the first.
No.
You just saw
we're reporting it right now. We know they watch. Hey, Facebook, take a picture.
Oh, yeah. Chris also got Facebook glasses, so he could take pictures.
I got the new Facebook glasses, so I can reverse stream us.
Awesome.
So what we were talking about were these nested filters. Kuban, have you had many chances to?
So I saw them, was it yesterday? Well, you mentioned it, and I'm like, well, that's awesome. We can finally combine or and conditions. I think it's great functionality. I think a bunch of people are going to get confused because, when you give people more powerful tools and they can do more, it's always harder to use them. And I think that Airtable put a lot of thought in trying to figure out how to get a user interface that balances out the complexity with still being approachable.
Yeah. I think that brings up a great point. So when I first started using this, the UI, like the field selector in particular, it's like different and it's less like warm. I don't know what the right word is, but like warm or like friendly. Like it's more like boxy, I think. All of this.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a harbinger of things to come.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love all these, control arms to drag things around, groups. You can drag things here. But again, speaking of harbinger, this only shows how far we are from anything ever being mobile. There is no way you're dragging any of this with your finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I was playing around with that I really liked is you can drag things in and out of condition groups, which I think is great for like someone like me, but someone just starting out might get very confused. But you can like drag stuff anywhere you want to any like stage. But this seems like I think people will get confused by this. Just starting out.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is because it is complex. You're having a lot of different abilities. I think they were pretty smart to limit it to just 3 levels of nesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen this because Brian, can I share my screen for a second?
Yeah.
So we've got this really complex nesting now, right? There's this condition I have where I'd like to make something required, and I still can't do that. I can literally skip this field if I want.
You have to zoom in.
Yeah, so I can skip this field. I don't have to fill out this field. But we maybe skipped 800 levels of nesting and just make this required.
Well, the trick with making it required is when you create a new record in the user interface, everything is blank. So how do you say that it's required when it creates a record with everything blank? The best that we can do right now is a little workaround where you have a formula field that checks for values and whatever you want it to be, and then throws up some sort of warning.
I know, but like when I create a web form, I can make that required.
Because in a web form, the record isn't created until the form is submitted.
Right. Then that's the way these things should exist when we create them.
Okay. It just happens that based on the architecture, the record is created before you start filling it out when you're in the Airtable user interface. So that's an underlying architecture issue.
Chris has been consistently salty about this for many weeks.
This is the hill I'll die on. This and then validation constraints. So if I do this in this field, I want limited options in this field. Again, I know you can, it's already created. I thought I'd show you real quick what the what Facebook glasses, what the Facebook glasses. So there's you guys in Facebook glasses.
That's the picture.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I see in my world.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, that's that nice big monitor.
49 inches.
Wow.
You have to have a wide screen for the Airtable. Ben, you're on a wide screen, aren't you?
27 inches.
It's okay.
Or there's
Kind of
two.
beginner wide.
Yeah, I have 17 inches.
We'll have to have well, we know that Aaron or somebody who does actual quality Airtable content will actually do a good demo of this, right?
I'm sure they will.
Somebody who does real content, not us.
And has time to, like edit and
Demo
plan,
it.
and I'll write a
Just
script
got it.
beforehand.
So I had some exciting news. This is actual Airtable news. So we all know Softer. Everyone loves the Softer, right? They've launched today an experts community. So look at this.
Oh, wow.
So basically, yeah. So just remember, this is the same group of people that had the top 20 Airtable users in the world, right, Ben? I think you're on that list, right?
I have people to follow. Yeah.
Yeah, people to
Now,
follow.
Ben, are you instantly a Softer expert, or do you think this is like you have to be an expert on Softer? Let me see. We will continue to add expert. We're looking for more Softer users. Oh, that's pretty cool. Thoughts? What do you guys think? Everybody seems to have an expert network now.
I wonder what the qualifications are for being an expert. Like, do you just have to ask to be in the experts network and tweet at them? Or like, does it say any qualifications on there?
Oh, no. I'm a Pori user, and we have a community, but we're not experts. The Pori community looks a little bit like this. So over here we have basically a stacker where you can, like, we all of the Pori people hang out, or not a stacker, a Slack.
A Slack channel.
Yeah, a Slack channel. And then this is our member directory. So you go, oh, look, there's me. Oh, there's Rebecca. Remember that Rebecca? You guys remember Rebecca? She was on the show years ago, but she's in here. But this is kind of cool. So you can come in here, you can see all the little members, and then you can kind of see. I think their roadmap is public now. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't be showing this. And then there was the guy just log in and show stuff. Oh, this new slide layout is kind of hot. So in your records now, you can have things pop out to the side on the web form.
That's
Right?
nice.
Yeah.
One thing that I've been looking at this whole week, and it's like hard. So I was demoing for the first time the like embedded apps, like charts and stuff. And
nice.
I haven't had a good chance to like use Softer's charts, but like clients want to give their clients custom dashboards that are specific to them with like charts and graphs. I haven't found a good way to do it, but I feel I keep seeing that thing from Softer that they have charts. I just don't know if they can be conditional to each client.
The hard part, well, on what platform? On Softer or Stacker or Pori?
I don't care which platform, as long as it works and it doesn't expose everybody else's data.
That's the key, is not showing anyone, not exposing anyone else's data.
Yeah.
I mean, with a view, you can have just the right records in Pori, but where you get into trouble is then each person needs their own login, and when they go in their login, they need just their page. Yeah, that's why my system traditionally was all on my Squarespace site with all the charts and graphs, with each URL being to whoever I had to go to, and then a password for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everybody wants dashboards. It seems to be the hot thing. I think who's the 9-figure consultant? Gareth. He did a whole thing on dashboards, didn't he? Recently? Or Timeline. I can't remember. He did something like the week after we did.
That was the new one. Gervon, do you know what I'm talking about? Like building, do you know if Softer can do that, or are you familiar with Softer?
I have not worked with Softer enough to know that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if anybody,
and I reached out to Softer, by the way. They weren't interested. So anybody who's working with Softer who's we should probably talk to them. Software users, come on the show.
It seems like they're in kind of a big demand, not specifically software, but like front end, not front end. I have to be careful after being informed by
Web portals.
web user portals experts.
Well, this is the thing I was telling someone else recently. I said, I think actual usability design people for Airtable is going to be a big deal in the future. I was showing someone who, so I put a little thing on my website where I can charge people money for like 15 minutes worth of Airtable talk. How much do you think I'm charging for 15 minutes?
I guess it's $50.
$50. Yeah, that's right. But I was showing them this, and because I use this all the time. It's just my journal task. And he was like, that's beautiful. He goes, could you just build me something like that? And I thought to myself, it's literally an Apple shortcut with emojis on an Airtable form. And they were kind of like wowed by it. I was like, okay, yeah. So the answer is yes, I can, and that'll be $50. Would you like to know how much it'll cost you? Just kidding. I'm not really kidding, but sort of kidding. Not really.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't really matter how simple it is to do if the person doesn't know how to do it. So, you know, if it's not,
I'm finding more people want pretty is what I'm saying. A year ago, more people talked to me about Airtable wanted functionality. Mm-hmm. Now, Benny, this is because like just now you saying you had that client wanted, like I talked to Kavan about some consulting work recently, and I don't think I wanted pretty, Kavan. I think I wanted guts. But Ben, you mentioned clients wanting dashboards. Do you find clients want more pretty lately?
Yeah, I think it's like clients wanting everything in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's gradual because first you want something that works, and you're just happy that it works. It doesn't matter what it looks like, it works. But once you get used to things working, well, then you want it to be pretty as well as work. You want it to be user-friendly as well as work. And then you're like, okay, you want whatever you want, whatever you have, you always want whatever is that next thing.
So what comes after like pretty dashboards? Is it like building it into a website and a user portal?
No, I'll tell you where this train gets off.
Let's hear it.
This is where this train's going to come off the tracks. So obviously, I still think we're going to have proper portals in Airtable. I think 6 months ago, whenever we did the list, I said within the year from that time. So we're still within my window. I don't know what that's going to do to Softer and Stacker and Pour. I have no idea, but it's coming. But I'll tell you where this train literally rubber hits the road is when Airtable allows you to take these things and turn them into apps and sell them on Universe. And when I say apps, I mean with mobile views. So to me, Airtable with a bubbled front end is the game plan. So the bubble has all the front end you need to be like native and mobile.
Yeah.
That's because again, pretty front end is only going to get people to the point where they go, yeah, but I want an app.
I would love at like minimum, if they're going to delay the user portal for a while, if we could create views via automations, because that would solve a lot of the user scalability of like a user portal.
Oh yeah.
And you can just like every new customer, it just creates a new view. And as long as in the automation, you could add the filter, which now they've made a little bit more complicated by adding 3 levels of nesting, which would be pretty tough to map out in an automation.
Well, we still, again, we've talked about this. We still need a permission model on apps, a permission model on views, a permission, you know what I mean? Right now, this, when you have personal, global, and nothing else, we need like a rules-based thing where you come in and you say, who are all the people that access the space? Can they get into all views, some views, this view, that view? It's the permission models is still pretty lax.
I had a really interesting permission thing happen today. Let me see if I can show it if it's not gonna show their account. So I was in Airtable automations, and one of them is like this client wants to have a report sent to them every week, or when something happens, sent to them in Gmail. And so I went, I can't share it. I'll find a different example while I'm talking, but they were connecting it with Gmail. And in the Gmail Airtable integration, like within Airtable, you sign into your own Gmail account, and I can't go pick anybody else's account that they've connected. I can only pick accounts that I've connected. And so they pick their Gmail account, and when anybody else picks their Gmail account in an Airtable automation, I can't adjust who it's getting sent to.
Yeah.
Or who's getting CC'd on it. Like I can't edit like the Airtable part of it, like choose from a different field. Like as a consultant who should be setting most of this up, once they pick that it's their Gmail account, I can only edit the subject line and the body. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So back in the day, I've showed you screenshots of those systems I used to build in the 90s. What you would do in a real enterprise app back in the day is you connect to an Exchange server. And then that Exchange server would have like admin privileges to the global address list, was called a GAL, global address list. And you'd be able to change, whenever you had these automations, you'd say, this one goes to this person. So like each part of the step would be, okay, what's the call group, which again, we call filters. That's what we call call groups. What is it going against? Again, that would be, again, that it's kind of like filters again, but like, what are you doing? And that could be like an email, that could be updating tickets. And then when do you want it to happen? And it was like such an elegant little system. I think I found a screenshot of it. And I keep wondering, it's like, at some point, I know this is 90s software, but we have to go back to find some way to like make this type of functionality. You can see when, and there were some canned rules. So when a ticket hits X, so it had like the call group where the filters already built into it a little bit, but it's like, why can't we just have something that simple? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like this stuff exists. I mean, ServiceNow has got this like in spades. Like right now, it's configured to what? A Gmail. So like that Gmail should be able to look at all the people in your organization, not just one.
Yeah, like you should, like if we were on enterprise, we could just pick to send from whoever's
from anyone. And technically, you should be able to just send from a null account. You shouldn't have to come from this one.
I think if I were to choose send email from Airtable, it would be like an Airtable email address.
Yeah.
But this is what I was saying is here.
Yeah, it's grayed out. You can't select it.
But I feel like I used to be able to do this. Is this not the case? Or has this been a feature for a while?
Well, I thought I used to pull emails in there from my record.
Yeah, but I can't.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't type it in. The whole box is grayed out. It's disabled. So why that changed, I don't know.
And you can't CC.
Yeah.
You can change their name, so you could change everything else besides who it's going to. And I kind of wonder if that's like a legal
It's quite
thing.
possible that it's something that was new and just changed quietly behind the scenes. Airtable does that sometimes.
Yeah. I think if I change it to mine, now I can't update it, but I can't change it back to the one that was there before, because it's not connected to my account.
Because it's not yours, yeah.
But it's still in the community, not community, but like anybody shared on this base.
Mm-hmm. And that's also really dangerous, because say you have someone who sets up the automation and they log in, and it's under their login that under their Airtable account is the one that ends up associated with the Google account, but then they leave the organization. Suddenly no one can get at it.
I think mine actually lets me do it, but mine looks different than yours.
Mm-hmm. But you have to have at least 2 different users in order to do that.
Yeah, the only distinction there is like this.
It's
so like
because yours is not email, is yours coming from Gmail? Is that what it is?
No, it's because of like I connected it with my work account and my personal account shared on the same base.
How come I can edit the 2 to pull something in from a record and you can't?
Well, first of all, you're using a different send email, and you're using Airtable right now.
So that's what I'm saying.
And not Gmail.
Okay. That's what I was saying. Do you think it's because I was using Gmail? I wonder if I were to use like an Outlook, if it would allow me to, because Outlook should allow you to talk to like a global address list. I don't know. I could try Outlook.
So it looks
That's
like on
automatic.
send email, there's no problem because it doesn't send from a person.
No. Yeah, send email. Let me do that. So what do I want to do? So send Outlook. No, see, this is the other thing with Outlook. It's only when an email's received.
That's for your trigger.
Yeah. So okay. Sorry. So yeah, I want to. So what do I want to do? When a record matches a condition, calendar. When moment is not empty. Okay. Check. Should we check that? Now running send. Well, we could. Oh, we could do email. Yeah, send mail. So you can from Outlook.
Mm-hmm.
But can you? Yeah, it'll let me pull out of a record.
Yeah, it will do that. Well, you also have to hook up your Outlook account.
And mine is hooked up, but
Yeah,
but I'm thinking.
Do you see where it says
maybe
select Outlook email account?
Oh, mine should be hooked up.
Okay, yeah. So you have to pick which one, but the idea is you can't pick one that a different Airtable collaborator has set up. If a different Airtable collaborator has set it up,
I see what you're saying.
you can't configure that.
So
So
Ben,
you
on
have to
your
have two Airtable accounts to do it.
Ben, on yours, someone else had set up that email.
Yeah, they had selected their email and then I couldn't adjust who it was sending to. Because it was sending.
They almost need to create a Google email account that's just universal.
Like have like a team at their company.
Yeah, something simple like that.
I can add online, yeah. Yeah.
Bummer. That's a bummer.
Maybe this has been, I don't really use this automation. Just the send email one. Has this been a rule for a while that on your billing plan, you may only email collaborators with verified emails, like on the free version?
Yeah, that's been that way for a while.
Interesting. They're really trying to
I'll tell you one thing. For a lot of these people who set up triggers and automations 6 months, 9 months, a year ago, and they have to come back in and what happened? Or someone who hasn't set up a filtered group in like 3 weeks who comes into the new thing. What is this? Yeah.
Yeah. Either that, or I mean, they might not even remember what it looked like back then.
That's what I tell myself every morning. I get up and look a little older. I just don't remember what I look like. I've always looked this way.
I think
You could add a daily selfie to your daily log.
There's
your
enough
table
things.
so that you can go and you can compare the pictures. You can do stop
Nothing's
motion.
filming me in my house. I don't need anything more. I don't know. It's a big news week, but I feel like we don't have a lot else going on.
Did you already talk about the scheduled outage?
No, that's a big deal. I mean, that thing was on
It's-
all of my bases. I kept getting messages. I think it's Friday night at like 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it's 10 p.m. Pacific time, so depending on what your time zone.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're actually announcing that instead of just having unplanned outages.
Well, you know what it does is whenever they have other outages, it makes you think, okay, that was unplanned then. But no, yeah, I mean, I think they're doing a good job of notifying people.
Can we yell at Airtable when Facebook was down for 6 hours? I mean, if Zuck can't keep it up, who can?
No, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this. I mean, it sounds like they've tested it out and they think that it'll only take a couple of minutes if everything goes smoothly based on their tests. So I'm going to be asleep at that time. I'm hoping on waking up and seeing a zippier, more stable platform.
But did you read what they're doing?
Well, they don't say a whole lot.
Yeah, because it's like read more here, and you went to the page and just said the same thing that said, but on a web page.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be increased reliability and increased performance and things like that.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
I wonder what they're laying the groundwork for. Maybe
UI
changes.
portal. portal, the metaverse.
You know, I mean, what I would suspect is that it probably has something to do with, like, with the enterprises and users that have very large bases, that there's storage needs that's going on and performance issues, that's what's driving this. And I'm suspecting there'll be a trickle down effect that everyone else will also benefit from that.
Yes, if you only have like 20,000 records, your base should be super fast. One thing that I really don't like about, well, I don't think I mind it, but if I was not in a place where I had 2 monitors, it would be terrible. When you open up the new automations, or at least for me, when I open up the new automations, it's always full screen.
Yeah.
But
and to edit any of it, it has to be full screen.
Yeah, I test it and then watch it happen. So on mine, I learned now I have to have it up in both screens. I have to act like the grid view up in one screen, the automation's up, taking up the entire screen, all 27 inches on this side, just to see, like, make sure it runs and it does what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Kavan was very upset. I think it was Kavan. Was Kavan or Camille? Who was upset about that last week?
Oh, I think we probably would have been both upset. Yeah.
I think the big news of the day is context sensitive help is broken for your formulas. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I hate to do this, but I have to actually get off early tonight. I told my spouse I would not be in here for an hour and a half. So 45 minutes into the big show, I'm going to have to roll, if that's all right.
Okay. I actually have to take off too.
Well, that leaves me. So I think I'll jump off as well. So,
but listen, if you're, well, Ben, if people are in the audience, you're listening, and we know, give us a message. Come on the show. We're doing this every Wednesday. We do this, but I think the most important invitation we can issue is, I can think of someone we haven't had on the show who watches religiously. Do you know who I'm thinking of?
I know Aaron comments that he watches them later, but that's the only person I could think of that I know.
I say we get Aaron on the show. So Aaron, we know you're watching. Come on the show. Let us, and you interview everybody, Aaron. Let us interview you. We want to know a bunch of things. First, I think, Ben, you thought he had a tan that one time we saw him. So was that a tan, or was that just a different camera? Second, okay, what's up? Automating all things, Airtable, Table Talk. I mean, you've got a lot of properties. What's the game plan? Are you going for the database Conan Bryan, or the database, I don't know who, late night? What's the plan? There's a plan here. And last but not least, a lot of people want to know, what do you eat for lunch? Your teeth look gorgeous every time you record. That's what I want to know.
There was one other thing with Aaron, now that we're on that. He said there'll be a special guest talking to us about timeline view. Is that you, Chris?
I am not the guest talking about timeline view. I did my best, Maury Povich. You are not the father. Maybe. But I would like to go on his show and talk about this little baby. Look at this nice little crystal I got recently. Isn't this thing beautiful?
It's pretty.
This one is supposed to make you happy. So I've basically been sitting on it while I talk to my clients.
All right. Join.
I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Come to office.
I got to take off.
Wednesdays at 7 p.m. But thank you guys. We'll see you.
Bye.